I'm Morton Dean. More news later on this CBS station.
This is CBS.
Untitled Beatles podcast.
All right, welcome, Beatles. It's the spring break edition of the Untitled Beatles podcast. Right now, Casey's making his way to Chi-Town. Tony's working hard finishing up The Bear, and it's me, the Shandog, here in my home studio, filling you in on all the Untitled Beatles podcast goings on for Spring Break 25, live from Cabo, Wabo, and we're proud to present Beatletainment tonight. That's right, I'm going to give you all the Beatle news updates before a special throwback episode right here on Appleton's home for Fuck Rock, WFUK. All right, folks, big news for you Hollywood fans. Beatle movie in the making. That's right, there's going to be a new 4-part Beatles documentary. Paul Mescal will play Paul McCartney. Harris Dickerson will play John Lennon. Barry Keoghan will play Ringo Starr. Joseph Quinn will play George Harrison. And the Shandog knows who all of these people are. The director is Sam Mendes, best known for his 83 Billboard smash, Never Gonna Let You Go.
I'm never gonna let you go. I'm gonna hold you in my arms forever. Gonna try and make up for the times I hurt you so. Gonna hold your body close tonight. From this day on, we're gonna be together. Oh, I swear this time I'm never gonna let you.
You can check that out in theaters, and the UBP will be giving out free passes if you call in at a special time on the podcast hotline, hardline phone. Folks, if you're listening the day of the podcast release, Record Store Day is today. I want to take a minute to plug the great record stores here in Evanston: Animal Records, Squeezebox, Vintage Vinyl, and among the many great places in the city, Rattleback Records, Lawyer's Planet of Sound, Our Very Last Surviving Chain, Reckless, and many of the other great Chicagoland record stores. If you were in line at 4 a.m. like the Shandog, who also went to Kohl's for Black Friday to get a Keurig for $79.99, normal price $81.92. This morning came out Power to the People, the live at the 1-to-1 concert, New York City 72. This has John the Elvis memory, folks. This was issued in 1986. It was called Live in New York City. I'm holding in my hand the RCA. I'm tired of that voice. I'm sure you are too. It's the RCA Music Service edition before BMG. I love the address. 6550 East 30th Street, Indianapolis, Indiana. Wonder what's going on there. Road Trip, Tony. Yeah, this came out. This was a great album. I love the version of Instant Karma where he apologizes for how shitty the band ends it. Great live version of Imagine. My middle school brain was blown when I heard Live Come Together. I never thought John had done live Beatles songs, and I heard this, and it was just wonderful at the time. This album has not been reissued or remastered since it came out in 1986. I don't believe it's streaming. When they had that Lennon albums box set, they did not include that. So this is worthy of a remaster, and Record Store Day is kind of the special preview EP. The question is, I believe, Lennon nerds, correct me if I'm wrong here, that the entire album from 86 is the afternoon show. There was some controversy. I think the better versions are from the later show at Madison Square Garden. I don't know which versions will be on this EP, but it's officially remixed. Thank you, Sean Lennon and Paul Hicks, for putting this together. That's going to be awesome. Other Record Store Day issues. Let's resume that voice again. For those of you who are into Beck doing a George Harrison slow song, note for note, the 12-inch single of Be Here Now with George Harrison on the A-side, Beck on the B-side's coming out, and All Things Must Pass in the Zoetrope vinyl. If you like to trip on acid and stare at records, if you've got that kind of money and time, Mazel Tov, my friend. Moving on, for you Maroon 5 Beatle fans, raise your hand if you remember Maroon 5 performing on the CBS Beatle 50th Tribute to America.
Close your eyes and I'll kiss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you. Remember, I'll always be true. And then while I'm away, I'll ride home every day. And I'll send all my loving to you.
Well, Adam Levine, the lead for Maroon 5, I don't fucking know, was on Howard Stern this week and told a great story about performing All My Loving at the Beatles' 50th show in front of Paul McCartney. It's actually a great story. Let's hear it.
It was the 50th anniversary of the Beatles performing on Ed Sullivan. They came to us and said, we want you guys to play All My Lovin'. We're going to roll the footage of them playing it on Ed Sullivan. And then you guys are going to pick up from halfway through. And then the Beatles, the living legends themselves, are going to be there watching you do it.
I was scared shitless.
And I listen, man. I told you I've been scared a handful of fucking times in my life. That was definitely one of them.
Oh,
I was like, holy shit. I mean, I'm sorry, man, but it's like you can be too cool, but not always.
right.
It's Ringo Starr and Paul McCartney. Fuck off if you're going to try and be cool about that. So afterwards, I see Paul, and Paul kind of took me in close, and he goes, you know, we did it better. Like that. And I thought it was so funny. I thought it was so funny. And I cracked up and I'm like, yeah, no shit. You know, you're Paul McCartney, you're the Beatles. And then literally 3 or 4 months later, I'm like at a party and B's like, hey, Paul McCartney's like trying to get your attention, which is already so crazy, right? Like,
right.
oh, he's trying to get my attention. I'm like, that's already insane, right? That's happening. He's like, hey man, I just wanted to let you know, like, if that bothered you, like, I've been thinking about this. I didn't want to insult you or anything. It was something like that. Like, if I insulted you, I apologize. And I'm like, oh my God, like, you're good. Like, dude, you're Paul fucking McCartney. But it kind of shattered in a great way this whole thing about, you know, your heroes being who they are. And it's like, he's a human being with a beating heart and like a really beautiful soul who like actually was thoughtful enough to even take that into account, that maybe for some reason my feelings might have been hurt, but of course they were not.
WBBM FM and HD1 Chicago.
Always on the free Odyssey app. Home of the commercial-free workday. Every Monday from 9 to 5.
Only on B96.
Thank you to the Westwood One CBS radio network for the Stern clip. I don't know. And in Breakfast with the Beatles news, want to remind you to check out 93XRT Sunday mornings from 8 to 10 a.m. It's on the Odyssey app or it's on 93XRT in the Chicago area with the legendary Terry Hemmert broadcasting live from the Terry Hemmert studios. Well, on the April 6th Breakfast with the Beatles, Terry Hemmert in the 3-hole played one that I'd never heard before, a cover of It's All Too Much by Journey. Yes, it was a wonderful request. If you listen closely, there wouldn't be Don't Stop Believing without Journey's cover of It's All Too Much. And then there'd be no 05 White Sox, so thanks a lot, Terry. Also related, my favorite comedy of all time is Caddyshack, and Journey is used so great in Caddyshack. Let's roll the clip.
What do you got in here, rocks?
Are you kidding? When I was your age, I would lug 50 pounds of ice up 5, 6 flights of stairs.
So what?
So what? So let's dance.
I was alone. I never knew what
Now, what the devil?
We will return to Bill Murray, Chevy Chase, and Rodney Dangerfield in Caddyshack.
So that's your Beatletainment Tonight news. Let's throw it to Tony live from the set of The Bear.
All right. It's lunchtime on the set of The Bear. Perfect time to check in with the Untitled Beatles podcast. This is Tony. And what I'm looking forward to in the Beatleverse. Okay. All right. I did see that Billy Preston doc. That's the way God planned it. I wrote a report and I turned it into an audio review. So I believe we have a clip of that. It's my movie review. My Billy Preston movie review by Tony. I went to see a movie. The movie is called Billy Preston, That's the Way God Planned It. It's only playing at festivals, so don't try to see it at your neighborhood theater just yet. My friend Glenn told me about it on the internet, so I went to go see it. I asked my friend TJ to see it with me, but he said he was busy watering his hair that night. Wow, what a great movie. But it's not a movie with actors. It uses actual people instead. They call this a documentary. The documentary was directed by Paris Barclay. He did a really good job of directing. It's a movie about Billy Preston, a really great piano and organ player. The director found lots of old footage of Billy when he was a teenager, playing on the TV. He played so good it was crazy. There was also interviews with Ringo Starr, Olivia Harrison, and Weird Eric Clapton. Plus, Mary Clayton, Gloria Jones, Tony Jones, no relation, Suzanne DePassy, and other people too. My favorite part was seeing Billy play with the Beatles. The director got to use outtakes from Get Back, also known as the Peter Jackson thing. I had never seen these outtakes. I actually got teary during these moments. I think it might have had to do with the edible I took, or the overpriced, under-seasoned fried chicken I had before the movie started. After the credits, the director, Paris Barclay, came onto the movie screen using a Zoom phone call. He took questions from the audience. Here's one.
And I'm wondering if there are other musicians out there that had a similar career, or is Billy Preston really unique in that regard, in his influence on so many different, great music greats out there?
There's no one that I know of. I mean, no one who could lift up the Beatles and get them through 3 of their biggest albums. That's just an incomparable accomplishment. You saw it right there in the Beatles' faces. To turn the greatest rock group from, jelly into a working unit just by the force of his playing and his personality is an incredible talent.
I almost asked the question, but I was too high and bloated from the edible and the fried chicken I had eaten. Billy Preston, That's the Way God Planned It. It's a great movie. You should go see it, but don't try to see it in your neighborhood. It's not playing there. 4 3/4 fabs. I guess because, I'm hashtag on set, I'm feeling very movie-centric, so I'm also looking forward this Sunday to meeting with Casey and TJ in Chicago to go up to see One on One, the John Lennon Yoko doc. That's coming up, man. One on One.
Tony, that's a good guess. It's actually 1-to-1, but I understand you confusing it with your longtime favorite Hall & Oates banger.
we're going to be one-on-one. So we'll bring a basketball. We'll give you an update on the fecal matter situation on the bricks of the Skokie Theater Plex.
And that leads me to what I'm looking forward to doing, Tony, which is seeing one-to-one with you and producer Casey. We're going to have so much fun on Sunday. We're going to do a wall poop inspection. Well, that's it for Beatletainment tonight. On most of these CBS affiliates, stay tuned for a rerun of the Untitled Beatles podcast, one of our first episodes, a salute to the 8th Beatle champion, Yoko Ono, as Tony and I review Approximately Infinite Universe. That's next on most of these Untitled Beatles podcast stations after this.
This is Jimmy Nicol of the Beatles. Congratulations to the Untitled Beatles podcast on their 200th episode.
Untitled Beatles Podcast.
All right, welcome to Untitled Beatles Podcast. My name's Tony Mendoza.
And I'm Tony Mendoza.
Now, hold on, TJ.
Oh, cut. Can we do it again? Is this live? I'm TJ Shanoff. Great to be with you again, Tony. 4th episode. It's worthy of an anniversary podcast. Today we'll look back on the great moments from our first 3. Is that how that works?
Yeah, man. Today, no edits as always. No edits. All raw, all real. This is Beatle talk. It's very serious stuff. No edits. No laughter.
No.
So last week, TJ, you had me listen to a couple of George Harrison records that I was not as familiar with, and I gave you my 2 cents and then some. And this week, I challenged you to listen to Yoko Ono's 1973 record. It's a double album, Approximately
Yes, it is.
Infinite Universe. And yeah, because I was like, well, I love this record, and I wanted to get your take on it. Not a lot of people know this one.
This is one I'd heard a couple of the tracks before. I'd never heard this album at all. I did a lot of homework on this, but before we get into it, I'd love to hear your because Yoko's a very dividing figure amongst Beatles fans.
Yes.
I think in 2020 we're way past the whole Yoko broke up the Beatles shit. I think that's over.
Thank you.
It is, but Yoko still remains divisive. So
yeah,
how did you get into this album? How did this album kind of burrow into your Beatle head and heart? Give me where it began for you with this.
You know what? This is so funny. So it actually came from a cover of one of the songs on which we'll get to, but a band of Montreal, that band in the 90s, covered a song off this record, and I loved it.
Am I going crazy, or is it just you, Daddy? Am I going nuts, or is it just you, Mommy? Am I playing God, or is it just the world? Mommy, I'd rather have you dead than crazy.
And they also covered The Who on that. It was like an EP.
You wearing disguises. Occasionally it still surprises me when she turns out to be you.
And so I saw the writing credit Yoko Ono, and I was like, I love this song. How do I get this record? And in the late 90s, this record was hard to find. And then one day, probably in 2003 or 4, I saw it at Reckless, Reckless Records in Chicago. And
which one? Which Reckless? Wicker Park or Lakeview or?
Man, I don't remember. It was one of the ones in the city for sure. It wasn't the one in Evanston.
Okay.
So yeah, and I bought it, and I ended up just loving this record. And as far as Yoko's concerned, I dig Yoko. I think she's important. I don't care that she broke up the Beatles. She didn't.
She didn't.
Right? And so I made a little list of things like without Yoko Ono, there'd be no, what was that? Second verse in Julia.
Seashell eyes, windy smile calls me.
There'd be no song Because, which was started by Yoko
playing piano. Yeah, that Bach tune, I think, right?
Yep.
Actually, Yoko was playing Beethoven's Moonlight Sonata.
There'd be no Revolution number 9. Now people might say, oh, that would be good, but would it?
Number 9, number 9, number 9, number 9.
I mean, think about it. Without Revolution number 9, then we don't have, whenever you hear number 9, you're not going to say that joke. Like 9 loses a little bit of meaning.
Right. That's a great point, too. It began so many John Lennon references to the number 9, including he was born on October 9th.
Number 9 Dream.
Number 9 Dream, such a beautiful, one of his beautiful mid-70s hits. Yeah. So, yeah.
Yeah. There's no I Want You, She's So Heavy. There's no Give Peace a Chance. No Ballad of John and Yoko, obviously. We would never have seen John Lennon's penis. Dead air.
It's John Lennon. You still probably would have seen his penis. Cynthia might have been upset by it, but you would have seen John's dick at some point.
You're right. Probably, at a club in L.A. With David Bowie.
With a toilet seat on his head, telling the Smothers Brothers to fuck off, right?
Exactly. So I dig Yoko. I dig her influence on John, and that's just the Beatles stuff. I also so I dig Yoko. She gets a bad rap, and she's funny, man. She's funny. That's what people forget, is that she's funny. She's got a sense of humor.
Well, yes to all that, and she's a survivor. I mean, she is in her late 80s at this point.
Yeah.
Maybe
1933 she was born, I believe.
Insane. And she put up with so much shit. Now, in fairness, a lot of the Beatles' wives and girlfriends did, but Yoko was such a presence, and some of the bad rap. We'll get to the album in a second. I don't want to make this just all about Yoko. Our fans want to hear all about her 1973 double album. but I will say, the way she was portrayed in the movie Let It Be, the jarring sound of her taking a line on "Happiness is a Warm Gun," which was not Yoko influence, it's Yoko singing.
Bungalow Bill, you mean?
Sorry, on Bungalow Bill, I got my White Album tracks confused, I apologize.
His mommy petted him.
There were jarring Yoko moments that I certainly think it's worthy of criticizing Yoko at times, but I think if you're a real Beatle fan, you mellow out to Yoko eventually, and you learn, to your point, that she was integral to so much of the late era Beatles.
Agreed, man. Agreed.
And all of John. I mean, the albums that came out concurrently to me being Awake with the Beatles by John Lennon, because John's last studio album before Double Fantasy was that rock and roll covers album in 75.
Yeah, the Phil Spector. Yeah.
So I was born in 70. Yeah, it's just a mess and not a great listen.
It always works out the same old way.
Hold it, somebody's waving a hand. Somebody said stop, so we stopped. Here we go.
But a Double Fantasy came out in 80, the last when John was alive. But the one that I really got into was not the one that Milk and Honey, with Nobody Told Me to hit on that. And that was the first album I remember in real time that John and Yoko alternating. And then you go back and do Double Fantasy. Then you go back and do this, which will be relevant to our conversation.
Sometime in New York City.
Sometime in New York City, right, which is not exclusively alternating John and Yoko, but it kind of established that formula. So that said, I'm excited to dive into this with you. So you've loved this album now for a while, since the 90s-ish?
Yeah, I mean, basically almost 20 years, yeah. And I'll put it on. It's a great record. Here's what I wrote. It's a vivid Polaroid of the Lennons' troubled marriage in the moments right before the whole Lost Weekend bit. Which, how long did the Lost Weekend last? It lasted like 2 years or a year and a half or something.
Year and a half, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
And resulted in some of John's least evergreen work. Mind Games and then Walls and Bridges. I think Walls and Bridges is a much better album than Mind Games. Mind Games, you know, it's got a silent track on it, the Newtopia National Anthem. Like, I get it, but come on. And of course, the title track's great, but there's a lot of bullshit in that time because he was adrift without Yoko. And God Bless You, May Pang, but it wasn't the same.
No, and that's all that. That's so yeah, yeah. Man, they had it all. They had it all figured out.
They totally did.
Here's here, have a surrogate me. Well, you know, that is so strange to send like a wax figure of yourself. Whatever.
And Yoko endorsed it. That's the thing, is Yoko was totally what a cool spiritual weird thing where Yoko was like, yeah, go be with this woman. Go do coke and heroin and get super drunk on Brandy Alexander's or whatever the hell John was drinking at the time.
Yeah, hanging out with Harry Nilsson and Keith Moon and seeing what real despair is, you know.
Yeah. Uh-huh.
Man.
Sweet as the smell of success. The body's warm and wet. She gets me through this god of loneliness. A natural high butterfly. Oh, I need her.
Well, so this was recorded at the end of 72. It starts off with a song called Yang Yang, or Yang Yang, if you will. I wrote solid opener. I don't know. What did you think of that one?
Here are my notes, because I took track by track notes on this. I wanted to hear it twice. It's very Yoko and Elephant's Memory Band. The backing band is the same band that played on Sometime in New York City, which, and I'll get into this in a bit, I'm not a huge fan of.
Right. Yeah, you don't like these guys. You said they suck 2 episodes ago.
They sound like it. All right, what are you, the fucking dramaturg? That's the right word? I don't even know if that's appropriate.
Time code 53. No.
What the hell? You work with an editor. Yeah, you know what? I think that they were a halfway decent early 70s New York bar band that I think John, you know, when you look at who Bowie was playing with at the time, a lot of John's contemporaries, even Paul's homemade stuff or Paul's stripped down stuff, when it was just Paul, Linda, and Denny Lane, the sound that Elephant's Memory Band made to me felt just pedestrian for a Beatle.
Interesting. That's pretty well.
Yan Yan holds on to a giant phone. Yan Yan, soft voice goes on and on. I hate you, where did it go wrong? Yan Yan goes talking to himself on the phone.
I know what you mean. I wonder if it's the mix. Like, to me, the mix is really flat. I wonder if they were like mixed with more dynamics so that the drums sound like those pillows or whatever. Like, I will say the sax player rips, man. And I'm not a sax guy. I don't like sax.
Let's talk about sax, baby. Hey, we got a Salt and Pepper parody coming up next. God, don't. If I do that again, end this. Just won't call it.
No edits, CJ.
No edits. I think the sax player's Jewish. I looked up the liner notes for this, for real, not a joke. So
yeah.
I now have to like him 8% more.
Yeah, I've got the liner notes. Well, yeah. So Yang Yang, I like that she says "I hate you" in the chorus. I mean, it starts off, you know, man. So this record's also like a feminist album. There's a whole feminist essay she wrote in '71 that is in the gatefold. You can't see it, but it's good. And if I may, I'm going to just say this real quick here. I'm going to quote. Yeah. She says, "Women are." She was kind of ahead, really. Yoko still is.
Yes.
Women are going through a very initial stage of revolution right now. We're now at a stage where we are eager to compete with men on all levels, but probably women will go to the next inevitable stage. Women will realize themselves as they are and not as beings comparative to or in response to men. In result, the feminist revolution can take a more positive step in the society, that is to offer a feminine direction. I say, okay.
Yeah, suck a D, Gloria Steinem. You know, like.
But I mean, that's what anyway, we don't have to get political, but I mean, I agree 100% with that. We see what's happening in New Zealand with the women taking over and how things are better, it seems. Anyway, I think she was onto something.
I think you and I are two gentlemen who are unafraid to agree that everything in the world will be better were women running things, without a doubt. So here's my notes on Yang Yang. I wrote, I wanted to hear this twice. It's hypnotic in its simplicity. I hate you, I hate you. I've got in quotes because that's jarring when that comes up a minute or so into the song. And it feels like it was recorded in a New York City subway.
Yeah.
Like they're busking on the A line at 40 whatever, 42nd Street.
Give up, come out and join the revolution, join the revolution.
Solid opener. Now, a lot of people talk about like, well, what if approximately Infinite Universe was just a single album? A lot of people say I would not include it on the single album. I have my single album takes. Anyway.
I have a note written later about, because it's kind of follows the White Album discussion of what if the White Album were a single album, which I think is kind of a blasphemous thing. I think it's slightly more applicable for this album. I think Jack Douglas, who I think either mixed it or produced it, should have said, like, guys, I don't know that we need Catman, but we'll let's go in order. So right, I thought it was actually a really great way to begin the album. It's got a nice groove going.
Yeah,
it's I wrote it swampy and peppy at the same time, which that's a kind of a tough sound to make.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Cool. The next song was a single, Death of Samantha. And there's a few bands that have covered this song. It's slower.
There's something inside me. Something inside me died that day. People say I'm cool. Yeah, I'm a cool chick, baby.
Yeah, so this song is about the night that Nixon got reelected. This is a famous night in their history, and they're at a party, and Lennon gets drunk, and he goes off into some other room and has sex with someone at this party while Yoko is there.
Right.
And it's kind of rude.
It's not nice.
So this song is kind of about that, and I like it. I find, like she says, inside, for inside, her accent comes out. I find that very endearing. It's like punk rock. It's like Daniel Johnston or Beat Happening. Like it's like outsider art, and it's got a good groove. And I like that the solos serve the song.
When I'm with friends, I thank God I can light a cigarette when I'm choking inside.
My note for that, and this is an overall Yoko note where I think we will respectfully disagree with each other. In general, Yoko ballads drive me a little cuckoo. I feel like Yoko ballads just kind of meander, whatever rhyme scheme she has. Like some people are A, B, A, B. She's like A, B, C, D, E. Like Yoko. Like, listen, you don't have to love like Rodgers and Hart, but give me like a rhyme scheme here. No, and my other note is this was the first track on the album that really felt like something that could have been on Sometime in New York City. It sounded like a song from that album. Yang Yang had a very different sound to me. Death of Samantha sounded like it could have fit on this highly controversial album.
Right. Yeah, for the record, Sometime in New York City was considered a failure. And honestly, I don't put that one on that much. And my favorite song on that is We're All Water, which is Yoko's song.
That's a Yoko song.
Yeah.
Yoko's got Angela's a great song on there about the activist Angela Davis. And well, we'll save that for a different show. But they're related because that Sometime in New York City was recorded, I think, in the spring of '72.
Yeah.
So it's within about a year of this album being recorded and released.
Yeah, this was recorded. This Yoko record was October and November of '72. So yeah, basically within 6 months or so of each other.
Which makes sense. So yeah, that's you want to go to the next song?
Yeah. Next, the third song on side one. I Want My Love to Rest Tonight. Now I'm gonna let you go.
I agree with everything you said about Yoko the feminist. I don't understand what the fuck is happening here. I wrote one of the least feminist songs ever written. Quote, is it ironic? A little too ironic.
Sisters, let's not blame our men too much. We know they're trying their best. We know their fear and loneliness. They can do no more, no less. He was told by his mothers to never trust girls.
She becomes an apologist for John, is what I wrote.
Yeah.
I also wrote, when this album came out, Yoko changed her MySpace relationship status to "It's Complicated."
And by the way, killer MySpace poll. Well, I thought you'd go to Friendster, but I'm really happy you got a MySpace thing.
No, I didn't do Friendster. I was late. So what else did I say? Society is a hard word to work into rock and roll.
If you knew that no one's to be ashamed, but that society is to be blamed.
The group chorus. Yeah, this song is out there. This song is one of those. This is why people make fun of Yoko, and I get it. I'm Gen X, so I love irony. Therefore, I do like this song.
Well, that's if it is ironic, I love it. Or if it just, but it's Yoko being protective of John, and John called her mother. We all make fun, deservedly so, of Mike Pence, and he's masturbating to gay porn as we record this, which is fine.
Just astronaut porn. I mean, that's his
emphasis on ass.
Astro-not. I just figured it was some guy that wasn't getting any.
But the song did feel ironic, especially you hear it early 70s Yoko album. You expect the strident feminism, much of which follows on the 700 tracks left on the album. I was surprised that was track 3, but
yeah, that's track 3.
I don't need to hear that one again.
I'll keep listening to it.
We're all blind and crippled maids, frustrated would-be prisoners of the United States. We don't know how to cope with ourselves.
Are you familiar with Jan Terry, the local artist Jan Terry?
Oh yeah, she's in the limousine and
yeah. This is like a Jan Terry song. You know what I mean?
We live in long walks, sandy beaches, moonless swims together. We were like a merry-go-round, going around in circles.
Only 2 Chicago guys at this age go, you familiar with Jan Terry? Yeah.
She's trying to cram too many syllables into the lines. It's great. I love it. I love it for its warts. You know what I mean? All right, next up.
If Yoko only had an extra large limo cell phone Great. So let's keep going.
All right. What did I do? Exclamation point. I dig this song. I wrote fun grapefruit lyrics, meaning grapefruit. I have her grapefruit book right here. I love grapefruit. I find it to be inspirational, comedically and otherwise. It's got a funky groove. Why didn't you help me look for it? That's in the chorus.
I was looking for something in the closet. I was sure it would be there. But to my surprise, it wasn't there. And I had to look all over the world. Where is it? Where is it? Oh, where could it be? Why didn't you help me look for it? Why didn't you help me look for it?
It's got her screeches. It's got her yowls. What do you think?
Here's my notes. This is a very Yoko track.
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like interstitial music in either bad 70s porno or the Tom Snyder show. And My comment about the elephant's memory here, and this is either an insult or a compliment, depending on your perspective, is it's like the Isley Brothers were white. Because they kind of have an Isley Brothers almost groove going.
Yeah, there's the clavichord all over it, I think, right? Yeah. That's great. I love it. And you know what? We're both right.
Yeah, well, that's a beauty. But in every conversation, we're both right. One note I did have that's kind of, a Lennon nerdy note is it sounds like a little like a precursor to a song on Walls and Bridges. You don't know what you got. It's got a similar kind of almost groove to that, which I think is interesting. Does he play rhythm guitar or lead on this album?
It just says guitar, and it sounds like a rhythm to me. There's one song later on side 4 that has some great runs on it, but I don't think that's John. I think it's the other guy. I forget his name. It's in
Jesse Ed Davis. No, Jesse Ed Davis did not play on this. Who is it?
The guitarist in question is Wayne Tex Gabriel.
But I know John Lennon was credited as, let's see, he was credited as, I have it here in my notes, Joel Non.
It's an anagram, I think, right?
It is, exactly, it is. And also, 57% of Yoko's name is O. So.
And that's one to grow on.
And that's one to grow on.
Side 1 closes with, have you seen a horizon lately? I love this song. I fucking love this song.
Have you seen an evening light lately? If you have, watch it for a while. You never know. It may not be the same.
So I wrote, this is a mellow groover. This is like that Gwyneth Paltrow, Huey Lewis duet from the karaoke movie.
Cruising, yeah.
You're gonna fly away. Glad you're going my way. I love it when we're cruising together.
This is her version of that song, man. And I love it.
It's funny you brought up the soundtrack to a movie because my note on this is, was this cut from the original stage production of Grease? It sounds like a ballad they gave to Duty or Marty or like a. All right, you get this. Yeah, I said Duty. I think he's a T-bird. All right, favorite T-birds, light them up. Let us know. Yeah, it was a little. Not my Yoko speed. Again, I like the real upbeat Yoko songs.
That makes sense. Well, that's where you start. And that's where I started, TJ. And then I listened to this record a few more times, and songs like Have You Seen a Horizon Lately? And What a Bastard the World Is really stood out.
And Lay Off the Heroin. So you learned this and then re-listened to this on vinyl, yes? Is that fair?
I heard the cover of the song, and then I found the record in a record shop, and I bought it just for the song, and I ended up loving the whole double album, which I did not think was possible.
I bring that up because I downloaded this. I don't have the vinyl of this, and I firmly believe this album would be a much improved listening experience had I heard all 4 sides of my headphones on vinyl. There are certain albums that, and we can get cliched and weird about the sound quality of analog versus digital, and I think people are right on both sides, but there's listening experiences. Like, I never got the Stones' Hodgepodge album, Tattoo You, until I heard it on vinyl. I'd known that album for 20 years. I had the tape. It was fine. It's a decent Stones album. The first time you hear that record on vinyl, you go, oh, there's...
Yeah, man.
It's flipping the sides and the way everything flows and the space in between. So I'm wondering if this is a different experience on vinyl, truly.
I would definitely say so, because you have to get up 3 times, to turn.
Take more drugs?
Yeah.
Pee, if you remember to pee. Another person sitting down and going, fuck, I got up to pee. I'm sorry to interrupt. I just had to throw that out there.
No sorries, no texts, no texting during the show, and no edits.
Hold on, it's my agent. Stop swearing so much in this Untitled Beatles podcast.
This is a clean podcast too, TJ. So I didn't like you using that duty word earlier.
For all you young Beatle fans.
Title track opens up side 2, Approximately Infinite Universe. So this is what I would start my my one album version, my single album version with. I like the song. Good song, hummable, nice sax solo. It's not too Saturday Night Live. Yeah, she's obviously going through a rough patch with John, and he's producing the record. So that's what's kind of wild about this. All these songs about him. I mean, I don't know how much he had his hand in producing it, but
their whole relationship was a living diary, though. So anything that she's singing about is not a surprise to him.
Yeah. I mean, everything they did became public. So therefore, their dirty laundry, which is basically this record. It's kind of their dirty laundry.
It's their Don Henley 82 classic, Dirty Laundry. Kick it with it. Come on, kick it.
I remember when that song, real quick, this is just random memory. When that song was a current, I remember driving in a parking garage with my Uncle Paul, and that song came on, and my Uncle Paul was like, this song is a piece of garbage.
There's some solo down. I'm a Boys of Summer sucker. I like that one. That's got a real 80. All right, let's move on. But I'm anti-Eagles. Solo Eagles, solo Joe Walsh, yes, a million times. Solo Joe Walsh is great to me.
I don't mind solo Joe Walsh, but I'm definitely more Eagles than solo the others. I'm not going to ever listen to The Heat Is On. My least favorite fucking song of all time is Sunset Grill. That is my least favorite song of all time.
It's terrible. But not as bad as The Heat Is On. Unless you're being forced to listen to the Miami Vice soundtrack, there's never any reason. They don't even play in the 80s only state. That whole soundtrack's terrible.
Actually, Glenn Frey's Smuggler's Blues is on the Miami Vice soundtrack.
Please.
The Heat Is On appears on Beverly Hills Cop.
Let's move on. Our next episode will be about the Miami Vice soundtrack.
Well, what'd you think of it? What'd you think of the title cut? Anything?
It's okay. So when you say title cut, do you mean you'd slot it at the top of your running order, or would you cut all the songs from side one?
No. So I would just kick off. If I had to do this album as a single album, I would start it instead of Yang Yang. Yang Yang didn't make the cut. This would start it off. I think it's got good energy.
Yang Yang is to this album as what song is to the White Album?
Well, in theory, back in the USSR, but that's what I'm saying. It's not a back in the USSR. It's more like a don't pass me by.
Yeah, or Piggies. Love you, George. Not a Piggies guy. We've talked about this.
Next up is Peter the Dealer. I thought I read about...
That's what I call my dong.
That's great.
I got one kid to prove it.
Yeah, man. You had one score. You had one big score. Shaft's big score. I didn't even mean to. Well, Peter the Dealer, not my favorite. I like it. I like it enough. Complaining about waiting for their drugs. I mean...
Waiting for Peter the Dealer. He comes in the evening when we're fussing in bed. He says, good morning, here's your breakfast, and give us plates of stone. Takes a pound of blood each from us to give to the poor.
We were waiting for Peter the Wheeler. He comes in the morning when we're fast asleep, gives us a trip that's spending 100 years in a day, and takes a bone each from us to give the dogs. All right.
That's that ABC rhyme scheme.
I thought it strutted along. The kind of barrel house singing and playing and the whole thing I thought was interesting, but it's not a memorable song.
No, yeah, I like the minor key. I like the feel of it, but yeah, it doesn't do anything per se. Yeah, which makes sense. It's a song about waiting for your drug dealer. You're just waiting. So yeah. All right, Song for John is up next. I wrote sad, sparse, short.
On a windy day, let's go flying. There may be no trees to rest on. There may be no clouds to ride. But we'll have our wings and the wind will be with us. That's enough for me.
I jotted down the lyric, but we'll have our wings and the wind will be with us. Is that a McCartney reference? The way they would kind of reference each other. I wondered if there was an intentional. It's a beautiful metaphor, but there's also Wings is one of the two biggest bands in the country at this time.
That's right. Yeah. This is when Paul was starting to become on top and John was on the way down. Right. Yeah, I wonder. I never thought about that. We can put that in our Beatles conspiracy episode.
Mendoza, Beck, Shanoff, One America Network presents. God damn it, kill me. I wrote, it's interesting that when you look at John doing Oh Yoko a couple years before this in the Imagine album and Dear Yoko on Double Fantasy, it fits into them singing to each other and or about each other. I didn't love the song, but I was fascinated by that, where it fits in the world of them singing to and about each other.
Well, hell, even after all these years, I miss you when you're not here. I wish you were here, my dear Yoko.
Followed up by Catman, your favorite on the record, it sounds like.
Yeah, well, I love that trivia. It actually inspired Bob Seger's Catmandu, and where he was really going to.
I think I'm going to Catmandu.
Where are you with Seger?
I really like that song Still the Same. I don't like whatever the car commercial songs are.
The 15 years of Like a Rock?
Yeah, Like a Rock. That song I never need to ever hear again. Yeah, he's all right. Yeah. He was in some garage band, man. Here, if you ever find a song called Conscientious Objector, he was in he was in this like weird garage band, the Michigan garage band, militia garage band in the 60s, and they had a song called Conscientious Objector, and I love the song, but it's a weird Republican like song. It's weird.
Update.
Hey, this is Tony 3 years later. Okay, bear with me on this one. I got some facts wrong. So Keith Everett from the Chicagoland area had the hit with Conscientious Objector. Bob Seger was part of a group called the Beach Bums, and they had a song called The Ballad of the Yellow Beret on Are You Kidding Me Records, which came out in 1966.
Put a yellow streak down my son's back. Make sure that he never ever fights back. At his physical, have him say he's gay. Have him win the yellow beret. Yellow beret. You can't take me. I've got a short knee, and I got a bad back, and I'm allergic to everything, and I have asthma, and look at that hangnail.
Is that a Michigan thing? Because Kid Rock's that way too, and look at all the crazy people who white people bring guns to a state capitol, and they're fucking fine.
Yeah. I mean, I want to say all the Michigan people I know are great, and that's because they all relocated to Chicago.
Know what I mean? Okay, so Catman. I hijacked that and went on a Bob Saget.
Bob Saget. I love his.
Saget or Seger next. Ladies and gentlemen, Saget or Seger. Who played with the Beach Boys? Okay. Catman, it sounded to me, I wrote down Elephant's Memory Showcase song. They almost had kind of like a wah-wah feel, and there's an homage to Taxman, which I thought was kind of interesting. It
Oh,
kind of
Catman,
felt
right.
Yeah.
I didn't put that together. And when you say wow, wow, you mean the George Harrison song, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Look out! Look out! The Rosies are coming to town. Look out, Chapman! Look out, Chapman! The Rosies are flashing along.
I thought I wrote playful Yoko. This is Yoko at her best. I prefer upbeat Yoko to ballads. And I wondered what the Rosies are coming. What does that mean?
Yeah, man. No, you got me. This one is not my favorite. I'm like,
Okay.
This is a throwaway to me. I'm like, doesn't make my single album.
Okay, all right.
But you know
just
what
spent
does?
8 minutes talking about a song that didn't make your single album. We're talking mostly about Bob Seger.
Yeah.
For what it's worth. Kids, don't take edibles and then log online and be stupid. Sorry, Jody, go on.
Well, I want to say that the next song does make my single list. And that, of course, is What a Bastard the World Is.
Yep.
Which is a lovely ballad. I love this song. I mean, it is peak Yoko. Like, she's in pain with the literal lyrics. My favorite line in the song is when she says, throw an ashtray filled with butts.
With butts. I wrote that one down too. My man.
I quickly get up and throw my pillows. Throw an ashtray filled with butts. Where were you all night, if I may ask you so? Though I don't care at all, I'd just like to know. Right, you weren't near the phone to call me from, or is it you were afraid to wake me up? I'm sick and tired of listening to the same old crap. You know half the world is occupied by you pigs.
This is my favorite song on the album.
Are you serious? This is your favorite?
Yeah.
I thought you would hate this song. So, dude, do tell.
Yeah. Here's my note. The first note, this is the feminist Yoko song I was waiting for.
Nice, man. It's so, go ahead. It's so literal. That's all I'm saying.
I've got the most notes for this. I'll breeze through them. My first note was Terry Hemmert, because I think I'd heard this before, and it would have to have been on Breakfast with the Beatles at some point. Love you, Terry Hemmert. If Terry Hemmert ever stumbled on this podcast, that would make me, she plays way too much solo Ringo. Her modifiers, this is a wonderful solo Ringo song, a never issued B-side from Bad Boy. It's not wonderful, and nobody wants to hear it. I don't need to hear Susie and the Banshees doing Tomorrow Never Knows, and I don't need to hear a Ringo B-side that didn't make it, Terry. But I love her.
Well, what about Motley Crue doing Helter Skelter, or whoever did it? Anyway.
You too? Remember that whole?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
It was a weird era.
Who's going to steal that song back from you too?
Julian? Man,
Do they still?
Like, no, Julian.
Who still has it? Does U2 still have it? Because it keeps getting stolen.
That I give Bono. Bono can be shit on, rightfully so, in a lot of ways. But there's another song on the Rattle and Hum album, which I love when it came out, called God Part 2.
Don't believe the devil. I don't believe his book. But the truth is never the same without the lies he made up. Don't believe in excess. Success is to give. Don't believe in riches, but you should see where I live. I believe in love.
It's heavily influenced as a list song, just like John's song God. And I thought that was cool at the time. I remember connecting that and being like, he's a fan. He's not doing like Imagine Part 2 or, God in the 80s was more obscure than God has become over the last 20 some years. God wasn't on Great Shaved Fish or,
right.
Legend, not Legend, the Geffen one, John Lennon Collection, the one that had all the songs from early and late. But at any rate, I dig this one. Yoko's pissed. I'm sick and tired of listening to the same old crass. Is that a typo? You've heard of female liberation. That's for me. It tells a story. Fuck you. No, please don't go. I'm sorry. All of us live under the mercy of male society. this is the one that I wanted to hear, and I finally got it on side 3.
And all of us live under the mercy of male society, thinking that their want is a need.
Thinking that their want is a need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. What a great line.
Side 2, actually. We're still on side 2.
Oh, side 2. Sorry. We'll take a commercial break and come back with the next 2 hours of Untitled Beatle.
At Kenny Rogers Roasters, we want you to be healthy.
Now, what do you think of the next song, which does close side 2, Waiting for the Sunrise?
I like what I think was a harmonium doing those echoes. That might have been a harmonium.
Could be. I don't know.
I like that kind of the sprightly piano drum intro. I thought the intro was really nice.
Yeah, I love this.
Ends on a high note.
Waiting for the sunrise, waiting for the sunrise, waiting for the sunrise, waiting for the sunrise, so I can take your hand, that's all about. Waiting for the sunrise, waiting for the sunrise.
Now, this is a joyful song. This is a song I would have put on mixtapes. You know, I think I did. It was probably the last gasps of the mixtape. But I love this song.
Woman or for you? Like mixtapes for you, or would you present these mixtapes to
always
like
for
a buddy or a woman?
For a woman, yeah. Maybe a buddy, depending on our relationship.
Right. If we were fucking. I made probably more mixtapes for myself than I did for girls, for women. I just loved making mixtapes for myself.
Yeah. I get it, man. Yeah, it's a bygone art.
Come on now, give me your hand, things will be alright. Not so cold, I won't be so long, and we can go outside. Waiting for the sunrise, waiting for the sunrise.
To me, this song was like the thing that would actually get you to think about Yoko in a different way.
Yeah, the Yoko epiphany.
Yeah.
Yoko epiphany.
So then we've got, this is the song that got me into it. It opens up side 3. It's called I Felt Like Smashing My Face in a Clear Glass Window.
All day long, I felt like smashing my face in a clear glass window. But instead, I went out and smashed out the phone box round the corner. I never had a chance to choose my own parent. I never know why I should be stuck with mine. Mommy's always trying not to eat, and Daddy's always smelling like he's pickled in boots.
I'm stupid. I even have the word side 3 written above this, so I should not have made that Yoko error, but please continue.
It's okay. It's okay, man. It's just on the score sheet. You've got a 1 under the E. That's all.
No, I'm Yoko embarrassed, all right? You know the kind of life, I had parents who would scorn me for not knowing my Yoko. We had Yoko quizzes. I said Seasons of Glass, I'm positive. No? Fuck.
Yeah, man. Well, I love this song. And so this is the song I first heard of. Montreal covered it. I think it came out in 98 or maybe somewhere around there, 99. So when I finally heard Yoko's version, I liked it just as much. And there's something about this song. It actually gets me emotionally, and I can't explain it. It's all during that shuffle part when it switches from the straightforward beat into the shuffle where she talks about seeing the Mick Jagger in Miami. I went to a rock show to see Mick Jagger, and then talking about it's told from the perspective of what seems like a teenager and their parents are going through a divorce. And I do not have that experience. My parents stayed together or whatever, but for some reason, this song, that feeling that she conveys, it just really resonates with me. Like, it gets me teary. I can't explain it.
I went to shake hands with the president in Miami. I went to a rock show to see Mick Jagger, and you never believe it. Surprise of my life. They had paint on their faces just like my mommy's. Am I going crazy, or is it just you?
It's the best kind of song, right? That's the best. I love that. Then I think you're going to appreciate my notes here, where I wrote favorite songs so far.
Nice.
Perfect Yoko. The tempo shifts into 50s rock. Elephant's Memory was best at this. This to me is what Elephant's Memory was probably designed. This is their sweet spot of playing, I think, as a unit.
Like Sha-Na-Na stuff.
But which at the time, playing that great was revolutionary. That stuff hadn't been heard in 15, 20 years. Nobody was playing that until, Sha-Na-Na at Woodstock.
Yeah.
Which
yeah,
is
Sha-Na-Na Woodstock was amazing. By the way, if you ever see them live, they were amazing.
I saw them live at, you may remember Old Mill Run Theater. Mill Run, I think it was called. Or not, Golf Mill? I don't know. It was right around there. And at somewhere in the city, maybe Chicago Fest or some weird thing. I did see them live. I love Grease. Their stuff in Grease gives Grease an air of like coolness that I think it wouldn't have without them.
So hold on. So I'm a dope with show tunes and etc. So Sha-Na-Na was the backing band on Grease?
In the movie of Grease, they added a ton of songs from the 50s to kind of augment the when they have the big dance off. Where John Travolta gets to do his Saturday Night Fever moves, but in Grease. It's not my favorite scene of the movie, but they play they do a cover of Rock and Roll Is Here to Stay. They do Blue Moon. They also do Born to Hand Jive, and it's I need to be very clear to people watching this right now. I hadn't taken an edible in about 3-4 days. I took my first today in a while, and I'm starting to border on like,
You're flying, all right.
Don't talk to your family for 45 minutes.
We got just one thing to say to you fucking hippies. And that is that rock and roll is here to stay.
Rock and roll is here to stay. It will never die.
And I felt like smashing my face in a clear glass window.
Yeah,
Love
I'm going to
it.
shut the fuck up. You go, but
you're awesome, bro.
Favorite song, bro? Can I call you bro? Well, I'm going to. No question. Favorite song, Confessional. My parents were divorced. I wrote the confessional about parents, and then I have a hyphen like John's mother. The things that John faced as well, growing up, and his absent father. Yeah, best song on the album.
Yeah. What is the line? They gave me a watch that's guaranteed not to break, but my mommy and daddy broke up last fall.
Mm-hmm.
Or as Yoko says, fall.
F-A-W.
Very dramatic.
Wanna talk to Dennis like eating TV dinner when you're angry. Trying to get their life is like watching ice cream snack when you're hungry. They gave me a watch that's guaranteed not to break. But my mommy and daddy broke up last fall. Am I going crazy? Was it just you, daddy?
Love that song. So Winter Song is next. Yeah. The world must be dead is one of the lines in the song. Like a very, very fine tissue. And then I wrote tasteful piano solo after the word time bomb.
Dude, I wrote the phrase beautiful piano lines, so we have a very weird.
The world must be dead. We must be the only heads ticking on a hillside line. Our leftover time bomb.
Yeah, I like that song. This one, I like all these songs, but this one does not make my single album cut.
No, it's a pretty melody, but yeah, I don't need to hear that one again immediately.
Followed up by the Kite Song, which does make my cut. That's more of this clavichord funk, more kind of grapefruity lyrics about just chasing a kite around and.
Flew a kite, held on tight with string. Each time
I dig this kind of stuff. I like the chord progression gets kind of seasick at one point where it keeps going like up and down a half measure, but then it goes somewhere strange. I like it. I dig it, man.
Yeah, it's that keyboard intro, those kind of very 70s riffs. This is another one that kind of feels like a precursor to a lot of Walls and Bridges. Now, Mind Games came in between it, but this one kind of playing-wise felt to me, it had a Walls and Bridges feel to me. I don't know why, but it did.
I wish it was on Walls and Bridges, to be quite honest. But
Yoko singing it or John doing a pass at it?
Well, you know, whatever you got.
I wonder if there's any demos. I mean, they've released so many, the whole Lennon anthology, and there's so many demos. But I wonder how many demos there are of John singing Yoko songs.
Yeah, not many. Not that I have heard of is what I'm trying to say. I hope they exist, but yeah, they give you one demo outtake from this record, and it's Lennon playing acoustic and Yoko singing.
Downstoning, I'm the only one awake. The streets are whistling. I light my fourth cigarette. I think of my friends. They were once not so dead. What are they thinking now?
Followed by What a Mess, which is, I wrote anti-abortion show tune.
Yes. Really funny.
If you keep hammering anti-abortion, we'll tell you no more masturbation for men. Every day you're killing living sperm in billions. So how do you feel about that, brother? What a waste, what a waste, what a waste, what a waste. Have to talk to a phony like you.
I wrote the same thing. I wrote perfect jaunty Yoko song. So
Yeah.
it's the same thing. Yeah.
It's a good one. It's not just about abortions in the first verse, but it goes on to be more feminist stuff about what a mess the world is, but it's done in this fun, like jaunty, as you say, show tune kind of thing. Followed up by kind of a ballad. I really like this song, Shira Nakata. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right, but it means I didn't know. It's haunting. It's trilingual. She starts in Japanese, she goes to French, and ends in English. And basically, it's the same lyrics in each language. But it's basically saying, I didn't know you were in pain. Why didn't you tell me that? But I didn't know. I would have helped you, but I didn't know. And I love the circular nature of the song.
Yeah, I loved the 3 different lyrics or the 3 different languages. That kept me interested, but my main note is keep it up tempo, Yoko.
Well,
Pick it up, my friend.
Air Talk is next, and that one picks up the tempo. This is another good one. This one makes my cut. And I wrote this song. This is the reason why I listen to this record more than I do Sometime in New York City.
It's oh so nice that you and I know it's what we all share. No matter how far apart we are, we can learn to care. There's something very nice to have something to share. There's something very nice.
Love the 50s guitar sound. Again, it's that band playing in that style, just totally in the pocket. Great guitar playing and drums. The hi-hat on the and 3 I thought was kind of a cool. Right? I think I got that right when I was listening, but it's a cool use of hi-hat, which I always love. That sax player drives me nuts. Is my note. Sorry, if you're still alive and if you're watching, I apologize, but it's a little, it's a little the sax, and that's another Elephant's Memory issue I have. Like,
I wonder if
saxy.
that sax is that because like I hate the DX7 Yamaha sound. Like if I hear that, I'm like, get me out of here immediately. It's like a fire alarm. So I don't know if that sax is like that for you, but
it is, where it sounds like the trebles mix so high. Like, what do you? Can you add like just some mids? Can you just put? Yeah, so it's
real quick then. Well, what do you think of the sax real quick on his number one? Whatever gets you through the night.
Great, because the whole song is just taking the piss out of a style. They're just having so much fun.
Yeah.
John called it a novelty song. It's perfect for. It is.
Yeah.
It's a saxophone for a novelty song.
You're right.
You know.
Yeah. No, that's all, because I love that song. I think it's a perfect song. So moving on, we get, I believe this is side 4. I think starts off with I Have a Woman Inside My Soul.
I wish I knew what it takes. I wish I knew what it gives. I wish I knew what it says to me. I wish I knew what it means to me.
I like this song. I love that. This is the one that has a weird passing chord in it that I just love. It's mellow. It's a groover. Yoko's got a ton of macaroni mouth in it. Like you can hear the like before she sings, which is, you know.
I had macaroni mouth as a kid, and the struggles I fuck you. Okay, you're gonna say that? I mean, I've never heard that term, but my son has macaroni mouth about 4 dinners a week at this point.
Well, I remember hearing it in a recording studio when I was doing some vocals, and it was like my mouth was, you know, and Greg Norman was the engineer, and he said, "Oh, you got some macaroni. Take a sip of water. You got macaroni mouth." So yeah, Yoko could have used a sip of water on the vocal on this, but I like it. I like the weird, tuneless background vocals that kind of are ghosty underneath the song. Yeah, it's probably not a memorable track, but I like it, and it makes my cut.
Yeah, this reminded me, you know, because I don't really know much Yoko, I kind of compared it to some John stuff. This reminded me a bit of Old Dirt Road from, God, that's on Mind Games, yeah? Oh, am I losing my mind? No, Old Dirt Road's on Walls and Bridges.
That feels, yeah, I was going to
it's
say,
on Walls and Bridges.
Feels like
again, that kind of connection to, even though it was Mind Games was in between these, I'm pretty sure it just kind of sounds like that. I also, my only other note is 5 minutes, 30 seconds. Come on, Yoko. Who's got that kind of time? Who had that kind of time in 72?
Well, they were waiting for Peter the Dealer, man.
Is he here? All right. Listen to the verse and the chorus 2 more times.
All right. Well, I expect you. So, TJ, I have expectations of you. I expect you to like this next song because it's Move On Fast, and it's the most rockin' song on this record. What do you think?
I'll burn through these. Great intro, up-tempo, passionate Yoko vocals, prog rock organ solo, great Yoko scream, great tune.
Where do you wanna spend eternity? Dreaming of liberty, searching for reality, trucking through infinity. We're in the past and move so fast. Nothing's gonna last.
Hey, buddy. Hi. My son, named after a Beatle, is waving and saying hi right now. Hi, guys. You're doing your podcast.
Hey.
We're doing a Beatles podcast. This is great. And they just saw a garbage truck.
Oh, wow.
But if you guys see Mean Mr. Mustard, let me know. We're gonna.
That's a
Love you
request.
guys. I
All
love
right.
you.
Next week we'll do Mean Mr. Mustard. All.
There we go. By the way, my son will be 4 this weekend.
Well, happy birthday.
Thank you. And when we listen to the Beatles, you can imagine we listen to a lot. His go-to album, his last year of his life, has been Help. He just first wanted to hear the song, but that's his. I played a lot of the early stuff for him, the first 4. but it's helped that so that's kind of from the mind of a Beatle influenced 4-year-old. He's a help guy at this point. First favorite Beatles related song was Band on the Run. So
that's cool, man.
He's on board. So Move On Fast, I loved every bit of. I love the Yoko scream. I wrote great tune. That became, I think, my new favorite as we went along. Great song.
And I've never even heard this, but she turned it into or somebody remixed it, and it became like a number 1 on the dance charts, I think, years later.
Really?
She's
done a bunch of that, I think.
Yeah.
Remixes, yeah.
Yeah, she found herself in that club world, which makes sense. Like, it's the underground. She's from the underground, people. Yeah, so I dig her.
That's what's cool as shit about her is that she's still doing the work too. That's amazing.
Yeah, totally. Well, it almost wraps. So that was my last favorite song. So the next 3 are not my favorites. Now or Never, which was a single. This is that Bob Dylan one.
It's Dylan-esque. Yeah. Dylan delivery.
People of America, when will we learn? It's now or never. There's no time to lose.
And kind of Buffy St. Marie in a way too, because again, I wrote here I made up a word, syllabilically challenged. She's just trying to cram too many syllables.
Fuck you, macaroni mouth.
Hey, I'm syllabilically challenged, TJ. Back off. I've got a card and everything. Show you. Yeah, not my favorite. I don't know, man. This is one of those things. This came out around Happy Christmas, War is Over. So they were in this idea that what they could create important commercials for peace, and this one falls short of the mark for me. It's too specific.
Okay, we have the exact same notes. I've got Dylan-esque delivery. It sounds like a sequel to Happy Xmas.
Yep.
I like I'm pretty damn sure there's a harmonium solo in there. I dug that, and I liked the progression. I thought the progression was kind of cool.
Next up is Winter Here to Stay? ? Oh, this is the blues one. I wrote this is when I would go get a beer at the show.
Dude, I wrote this is a band warm up.
Yeah,
sing a tune up.
Yeah.
Yeah, fuck that one.
And then I agree. And it closes with Looking Over from My Hotel Window, which I do like this one. It doesn't make my super duper cut. I mean, I love that she uses the phrase hot chocolate drink in the lyrics.
She's not wrong.
Hot chocolate drink.
95-pound bundle is also in the lyrics. Stardust and gold dust can choke you just like sawdust, or as she says, sawdust.
Age 39, looking over from a hotel window, 95-pound bundle, but it's trouble when there's nowhere to leave. People say stardust and gold dust are it, but they never tell you it chokes you just as sawdust does.
So when I first heard that, I'm like, soda?
that too.
You choke on a lot of soda?
But you've got to forgive my wife. She's kind of a soda choker. So one lyric that haunted me, and I thought about, because I listened to this pretty late last night. I'd had one adult beverage, and "Show me your blood, John, and I'll show you mine" felt prophetic and just kind of it just haunted me. And especially thinking of that Seasons of Glass album cover from a few years after John was killed with his actual cracked, bloody glasses.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, this is 8 years before that happened, or forgive my math at this point, but it's around then. And
it is 8 years.
It just kind of it haunted me for about an hour after I heard it.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we can goof on her and this and that and all that, but that's the thing, though, is that like she did live that. They did love each other, and she lost, so much, and it's just like
Age 39, feeling pretty suicidal. The weight gets heavier when you've bled 30 years. Show me your blood, John, and I'll show you mine. They say it's running, even when we're asleep.
Yeah, and then like the production on it with the echoes on her voice, and like they do that weird nightmarish backwards reverb where it sounds like this
like
the syllable you're about to sing sucks into you before you sing it, like that effect, N-verb or whatever they call that.
Age 39, floating over the world. Age 39, floating along.
Yeah, it's a spooky track, and I think it's the only one that she addresses him directly by name. She says John, like you.
Other than in the title of "Song for John," you're right, because I don't think she ever said his name in that.
No.
It's like the theme to Taxi is called Angela, and you never hear the word Angela. It's an instrumental ballad. So
Yeah.
Well, like Ringo's theme is this boy.
Right.
Not at all.
Look at that. You did it, man. You did it.
Look at that.
Well, that's the record. So what did you think overall?
Here, let me sum up a couple more thoughts here. I wrote, and this answers that question a bit. I wrote, nothing rocks as hard as Sunday Bloody Sunday or We're All Water, both of which are on Sometime in New York City. Yeah. And I think I was hoping, especially since that sound approximates it a bit with Elephant's Memory, I was hoping just to rock out a little bit more, listen to two records. But I wrote, it's all better than Don't Worry, Kyoko.
Yeah, no, you're right, man. No, you're right.
Especially the 18-minute version on that Toronto live album, live piece in Toronto.
Yeah, man.
I was thrilled that you introduced it to me. It's one, it just feels good, and you'll understand this. Like as a diehard and someone who thinks of themselves that way, it's good to know a chapter I didn't know. You know, it's kind of like a reminder to like, oh yeah, there's still a fair amount of stuff I don't know. It's good to get to hear it. So I'm appreciative of that. And there were enough really cool songs on it to kind of make me rethink Yoko in that era. And I'll throw one or two of these on a playlist at some point. I'll throw Move On Fast on something this month,
Cool, man. Yeah. I dig her a lot. And like, I think I said this earlier. Well, she wrote, a dream alone is a dream and a dream together is reality. And I just like the way her mind thinks, especially in things like the Grapefruit book. And I think she had a way of like just seeing the world in this unique, original way, but also evoking humor at the same time. And I think people forget what humor is when Yoko comes up, because I think a lot of people take the Beatles way too seriously, and Yoko didn't. And I think that's what John saw in her. You know what I mean? And why he gravitated towards like her.
Watch the sun until it becomes square. Like this.
What a beautiful take on a thesis on which I agree wholeheartedly. I think the questions of why her dogged her from the minute she entered their universe. Younger me probably uttered that.
Oh, sure. When we were kids and didn't know.
I'm not going to pretend like I was defending Yoko when I was 14. I wasn't. I'm not going to fucking apologize for that. But eventually, if you care enough, you come around. The more you understand the story from the perspective of when John was 30, and then his late 30s when he was home every day with her. The more you understand that, the more you accept her and the more you respect her.
Yeah, man. Well, give it a spin. It's out there on all the streams. Approximately Infinite Universe, Yoko Ono, double LP.
let me pull back for a second and advise yes to streaming it like I did last night, although my track order must have gotten fucked. I ripped it from YouTube. Do you ever do this? I mean, this is, 'cause I still like to own, I like to have music in my library where if I can't connect to the cloud, I've got my music still. So I still upload a ton of stuff. But for stuff I, like Yoko doesn't need my money, so I steal it from YouTube and then match the tracks. Then it's mastered for iTunes and your thing. Yeah, come after me, Apple. What are you gonna do? But yeah, so
they're shutting us down, TJ. They're shutting us down.
We gotta go. Instant Karma's gonna get you. So I listened. I might have fucked up the track order when I downloaded it, but I was gonna say to your recommendation, find the vinyl. I'm actually gonna see if any of the local stores in Chicago, they're still open for pickup. I'm gonna look online and call around if they have a copy for less than. I'm not spending more than $35.
Oh yeah, you can get it for cheaper. Right, you should. I think I got mine for 20 or something, and this is 20 years ago. I don't know. Yeah. Well, cool, man. Well, thanks for listening to that record. Like next week, let's do something like about the Beatles, the Beatles.
Let's get, maybe we do 2 weeks of Beatles. Your call, my call, and those can be Beatles. They can be weird things we don't think. Or should we keep those for solo? Let's do a show meeting on the air, right? A show meeting. Like our affiliates are going to find out that we're unprepared.
All right. Well, we'll see you next week, I guess. I don't know. We don't know. No one knows.
We're Untitled.
Untitled Beatles podcast. Like and subscribe.